Welcome back to product innovation. I'd be taking you towards few other aspects of the discussion we had in the last session, and let's see what comes in store. See, after we discussed the key aspects related to innovation, here are aspects of innovation and value creation. And now I would be taking you towards a perspective around innovation. This is one of my favorites, and you see, Professor C.K. Prahlad was a visionary, and he has contributed so much in the field of management and market development and strategy especially. So, it has been taken from his book which he wrote along with Krishnan, and the name of the book is New Age of Innovation, published in 2018. Uh, so, and you see, this book talks about a new perspective associated with innovation. So, the three aspects of innovation and value creation which Professor Prahlad and Mr. Krishnan talk about is related to co-createdness and co-created consumers, or co-creation and consumers, whichever way you want to look at it. Access resources from multiple sources, that one can access resources from multiple resources. Emerging markets can be the source of innovation. Let us see the structure which they talked about. They talked about two pillars of the next generation of innovation, and definitely that structure is coming up fast. So, two important aspects or pillars are n is equal to 1 and r is equal to g. We will see what these are. You see, these two pillars, on the base of technical architecture of a firm, wherein one pillar, as I said, is n is equal to 1, which can be deciphered as personalized co-created experiences. The other pillar, r is equal to g, is global access to resources and talent. And these pillars, they support social architecture of the firm. So, from the technological architecture of the firm to social architecture of the firm through n is equal to 1 and r is equal to g. Let us see what it means, and this is an important thing. I would request you to focus upon this, go to the text, read it, and you will enjoy it. The key elements of transformation of business related to this structure are suggestive of the fact that the value is based on unique personalized experience of customers. The focus is on the centrality of the individual, n is equal to 1 consumer's experience at a time. Do you recall something? At this moment, several organizations are keeping individual customers in mind when they are serving them. They are customizing several things to the specifications of individuals. And many a times, when you are using a particular kind of a software, someone from the back end is actually monitoring your usage and supporting you. The focus is on access to resources, not ownership of resources. Value is shifting from products to solutions to experiences. No company, as the book says, no company has all resources it needs to create unique personalized experiences from the best sources, r is equal to g. So, multiple levels, multiple resources can be accessed. Flexible systems are prerequisite and must be developed. Resources in the ecosystem must be continually configured. Specific models must be developed to focus on one consumer from the millions. Now, principle 1, let us look at it. Value creation must focus on the individual customer. You see, whenever I am talking about this individual customer, and if you will go to go and read the text, you would realize that serving individual customer means that you practically can do that. You can practically remain connected to the individual customer in real time. So that is the highest benchmark, and then even in the product design stage, you may visualize that what kind of finer customizations you would be doing. Or let us say, for example, there is one single customer at one corner of this earth somewhere and requires something specially. So that product can be sent to that customer or sold to that customer. That is the kind of ability which businesses have developed in due course of time. Low cost, mass production and differentiation, variety were seen as clear strategic choices. Mass customization cannot be scaled economically. See, n is equal to 1 goes beyond mass customization, is that it is about understanding the behavior, needs and skills of individual consumers and co-creating with them a value proposition that is unique to them. Elements need to consider flexibility, quality, cost and experience, collaborative networks, complexity, customer interfaces, scalability. In today's era, all the organizations, they wish to remain in touch with their prospective customers, their current customers, and that too individually. That means they are individually contacting everyone, or let us say are in touch with everyone and getting a real time perspective and feedback. There can be several examples day in day out. You can just watch on that what kind of messages you are getting, what kind of inputs the organizations are getting from you. Are you actually filling up forms or passing on the information to them, or somehow they are enabling your choices? Have you noticed that your mobile phone company actually knows the name of the people in the photographs you have in your mobile phones, and they are actually naming those in your storage? They are not deceptively intruding you, they are actually facilitating you, and because you have given them the legal rights to go for that, plus you are online in touch with them and they are actually noticing your preferences. This is one of those examples, apart from several other measures which organizations are using. This book talks about several examples, and one of those is Goodyear tires, wherein Goodyear tires, they have developed procedures to remain in continuous touch with their customers so as to advise them on safe driving, careful driving, useful braking, and useful brake usage, and several other aspects. And even Goodyear tires, which the book talks about, has sort of augmented their pricing methodology in terms of the usage related to their tires by their customers. So this is again a very unique kind of an aspect which organizations are coming all through. And then one very important thing which you would realize in this example is that Goodyear tires, or any tire company for that matter, which predominantly earlier were largely a B2B kind of a business, wherein direct business to consumer touch was minimal, only through communication wherein you were trying to pull up the consumers and telling them that this kind of a tire is being sold by you. But this kind of a change is bringing up B2B organizations into a B2C sphere. That is what this whole structure is all about, and that is where it is taking us towards an innovative thought process. R is equal to G refers to the approach to understanding the nature of the resource base of large firms and learning how to access high quality resources at low cost. The challenges facing business in adopting the R is equal to G, or the challenges faced by the business in adopting the R is equal to G perspective can be categorized as access to resources, speed, scalability, and innovation arbitrage. The N is equal to 1 and R is equal to G world is related to unique personalized experiences as the basis for value creation and expanding sources of resources. And it is a wonderful example, we all have heard about this. It is a very popular organization, and their contribution in India and for humanity is huge. Jaipur Foot. The Jaipur leg, also known as Jaipur Foot, is a rubber based prosthetic leg for people with below knee amputations produced under guidance of Dr. P.K. Sethi, Sri Ramchandra Sharma in 1969 for victims of landmine explosions. Primarily fabricated and fitted by Bhagwan Mahavir Viklang Sahayata Samiti, a non-governmental, non-religious and non-profit organization. With innovations in technology and management as well as an understanding of the needs of its patient, BMVSS developed a unique business model. BMVSS has provided services to more than 11 lakh people in India and more than 20 countries abroad since its inception, and the numbers have been increasing manifold since then. Jaipur limb technology is the most functional limb technology in the world and are closest to a normal human limb, as it virtually got same range of movements which a normal human foot has. It has a dorsiflexion, inversion, eversion, pronation and axial rotation, allowing an amputee not only to walk comfortably but also squat, sit on hunches, kneel, couch, sit cross-legged, walk on undulated terrain, run, climb a tree and drive an automobile. I have seen their video. Believe me, I could not believe my eyes when I saw a person jumping down from a tree and riding a bicycle as good as a normal person. It's a wonderful sight basically, and it's a massive task which they have done. It is waterproof with a normal life of around 3 years and fitting time of less than an hour. Jaipur limb is lightweight, 1.3 kilograms to 2.5 kilograms. You see, there are design considerations. Jaipur Foot was designed to simulate normal foot movements and provide a quality solution for the masses. Thus, the design process emphasized the following: activity and mechanical requirement. So, they focused upon activity and mechanical requirement. And there were constraints also. You see, for example, poverty has always been a concern and constraint, and then there are implications associated with that. But Jaipur Foot tried to meet all the constraints through several kinds of developments in their processes and understanding of consumer. And we have been talking of design thinking and innovation. Just to remind you, you will go to their website, you will go to their YouTube videos, and you would realize what specifically I am mentioning here. They focused upon material science, they focus upon human understanding, they focus upon need, they have been empathetic to the consumers, they are sensitive, they focus on sustainability, and they focus on the price, they focus on the constraints, everything. And that is how they have become one of the unique most examples to be discussed as a case study almost everywhere in this world. So, I salute them, and now I take you to a different realm of our discussion, which emanates from our existing discussion, that is new product development. Let us see what it brings to us, and I will slightly take you towards the entertainment world. We have talked a bit on serious note. You see, let's talk about Bahubali. One of the one of an important examples, in due course of time. There have been wonderful, successful movies which have been produced in recent times, and in India also we have come a far way as far as movie production goes. But this movie actually, was received much with an accolade and a great reception by viewers, and was a humongous success. Not only because of the storyboard and the script it had, but everything, almost everything. And let us see briefly, about this movie, so as to take our discussion to the next stage. You see, let's talk about the idea and vision associated with this movie. Long-term vision of director S.S. Rajamouli, that the very large scale of movie making ever produced in the Indian subcontinent should be there. That means he wanted a scaled up kind of a perspective around stunning sets, breathtaking visuals, and several other elements, animations. He imagined, lived, and did not compromise on his idea or vision. It took 15,000 sketches, 20,000 weapons, and once they were satisfied, it evolved as a prototype, and then the actual element came in. Approximately 1,000 people working for 1,128 days with 250 crore rupees of expenditure. This movie was planned and structured. Bahubali was the product of quite a few million hours of teamwork and dedication that went behind the scenes to bring an epic story to life. There are no extraordinary people or team. It's taking ordinary people who are willing to take an extra step in believing themselves and the whole team. That is where the human resource perspective, coherence of ideas, focus and togetherness comes in. There is no right team or decision. It's taking one and making it right. That is how their philosophy was when they were actually coming up with this movie. A good production design guarantees that the story has been told in most effective way possible. Bahubali would not have worked if viewers did not create an emotional attachment to the characters, despite the fact that it is a larger than life mythical epic. Similarly, good products must be developed with the user's experience in mind. It is impossible to be successful with a completely working product that is poorly designed. Designers have to put considerable thought into what elements are required in each component, much like the movie makers pay attention to each frame in a movie. You see, I would request you to watch it again for 10-15 minutes. Now, if you want, you can go for a repeated watch, but again the point is, now when you see that movie, just imagine the kind of production systems they would have generated. If you want to go deeper into the insight associated with such kind of a production system, you can watch how it was made, the technological perspective which is nowadays is being used in as far as movie making goes. And while they were doing this, they were imagining the viewer's response, how viewer would get engrossed in almost every scene. Ultimately, movie is a collection of scenes actually. So now that is where the whole coherence perspective, technology, storyboard, narrative, visualization, everything comes in, and that is what new product development is all about. Although movies are being made for n number of years, but in today's contemporary times, if you are producing an epic kind of a movie with a traditional outlook, with a traditional storyboard, with war and bravery as the context with some beauty in it and larger than life images, how would you keep the audience attracted? Because in contemporary times, choices of people have changed a lot, and we know that. So, how would you keep them up with you? That is one of the most important elements to be discussed. You see, and when we talk of development of this movie, so product developers' role to include only the best features in the product and package it in the most presentable format. Bahubali came up with an engaging story and attained the core benefit of the product. And there are several other elements, execution of marketing and marketing practices associated with that, the kind of communication modes they utilized, how they reached to almost every consumer without telling them the story, how they created a sort of a charm towards the upcoming movie in the minds of the consumer, not only the first part but also the second part before the first part. And that is the beauty of imagining the complete communication process along with the product process. And then the user retention, so that all the viewers who have watched the first part should watch the second part, and people who could not watch the first part should watch the first part and then the second part. Now, that is the beauty as far as their marketing team had in terms of the processes which they developed around marketing exercise, and this is what product development is all about. What is a new product? You see, it must be seen with several elements around. Whether the smartphone was indeed a new product or merely existing technology repackaged. So can we look at new product with this kind of a perspective? Does the provision of different packaging for a product constitute a new product? A product is a multi-dimensional concept. It can be defined differently and can take many forms, tangible product features and intangible aspects as well. Now, at this moment, just visit the earliest most videos in this subject, wherein I was talking about Barbie dolls. Dolls were always there, but Barbie came up as a new product and it established itself. It came up as a personality, a persona which a girl dreams of, and several kinds of persona which girls want to carry. So, that is where new product development is all about. You see, and each dimension of a product must be or is capable of being altered. These alterations create a new dimension, and in theory a new product, even if the change is very small, the product becomes newer kind of. So, you see, new product can be in terms of extremely new, not known to the customers. New product can be in terms of an incremental change which you have brought to the existing product with the perspective of the usage as well as the form. For example, typewriters got converted into keyboards and the screens. Now we type on our computers, and furthermore, as I have been telling, and you all know that we are going towards dictation based world, especially who want to enjoy that, who are comfortable with that. So, that is how things are. So see, we can look at new product with several perspectives, and that is why I chose this example of Bahubali to talk that films are generally made, and then several kinds of films are made and we talk about them, but this had all those ingredients of being termed as a new product development story. Now, the last part in this session, that product is multi-dimensional, you see, and why we say that product is multi-dimensional. We talked about this aspect earlier, but with reference to terminologies and concept which we discussed, but today we are looking at it with a composite view, and especially in terms of being referred to as something as new. new product, and we are talking about how and how new product development should be pursued. So, the multi-dimensional aspects are related to technology, features, level of service associated with the product, brand name, which again is very important, quality specifications, packaging and price. Are we going back to the fundamentals from where we started now while discussing new product? Yes, we are. But now we have enabled ourselves with a thought process related to the perspective of design thinking and innovation, and imagining that what should be termed and called as a new product actually. And that is the beauty of this subject, product management. And this picture in front of you signifies product management. So, just keep this in mind. I will be building upon the story of new product development from this image, and I will be bringing on several examples for you. And you see, one of my favorite examples in terms of new product development, wherein I was referring to the energy based kind of products in Earth the sequel. So, I mentioned about this solar ink. The other example which can give you a glimpse of how new product development can be thought of, can be pursued, is utilizing up and down motion of the sea waves. So, a company is focusing upon not only the flow of the water, but the up and down motion of the sea waves to generate energy. Another very great example wherein sugar and yeast are used for developing fuel cells. I am not much aware of the scientific aspects of that kind of development, but you just go to their website and then you would realize that what kind of a product they have developed. Then someone is using geothermal energy to generate energy. We are talking of a sphere of renewable energy. I have mentioned about this earlier as well, but here you would realize that focusing upon the large needs of people, larger need of people should I say, several organizations are looking at technology, features, that is printable solar cells, packaging we can talk about later in this case, price of course, technology is high priced in this case because so much of research and development has gone into the development of this product, level of service which is to be associated with this, and how would people adopt it? Why would people adopt it at the end of the day? Would they go away from the conventional usage of energy towards the printable solar cells based energy systems basically? So, you see that is where everything comes to the fore, and brand name would become one of the key elements of propelling that and taking it to people. For example, husk power systems, and we are talking of energy, so let me give you this example as well. Husk power systems, they are utilizing rice husk to be fed into gasifiers to generate low cost energy. Now again a wonderful example from waste to energy. I will be utilizing such examples to explain almost everything in correlation as far as the whole scenario goes, but I want you to imagine at this particular stage that what kinds of innovative new products are coming all around us. Soon those products would be becoming the parts of our lives even before we realize that so much of intensity has been given to the aspects and the development process of those products. I will be coming back to you with lots of examples, with lots of insight on new product development in my next session, and the subsequent session would specifically be focused upon the relationship of almost all the aspects which we have discussed all through. I am enjoying talking to you. Hopefully, you are also enjoying the sessions. I will be seeing you again. Till then, goodbye.